Hey, thanks for joining us at 616 Comic Reviews. Aaron here. We're going to be looking today at Harley Quinn number 4 from the new 52 series. Make sure you join us. Hey, welcome back to 616 Comic Reviews. It's Aaron here again. We're here looking at the number 4 issue in the Harley Quinn New 52 series. I really like this cover, especially because when you look at the cover, you really actually get a piece of the story in this cover. This is actually what is happening. This comic was written by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. Also was drawn. The artist is Stephanie Rue. I hope I didn't slaughter your name, Stephanie. So it starts out with Harley Quinn in her bathroom getting ready for work. She just got the psychiatry job, so you can see she's already happy and perked, ready to go to work. She ends up bumping into Big Tony, having a conversation, and she heads her way down to the office where she spends her first client is an older lady who is complaining about her grandchildren and about her kids and how they don't ever come to see her. Harley gets so irritated by the sound of this that she decides that she's going to go down to these people's houses and that she's going to talk to them and get them to actually come visit them. So she goes down there and she bulldozes through their house. She takes a bulldozer, blows a hole right through the middle of the house with the bulldozer, and then demands that they listen to her. She goes through each panel. Is really comical. I gotta say, the writing in this particular comic was a little bit better than moments of the art. I liked the art, but it's very it's a little more anime-ish. It's not quite as serious, as the previous issues before it. Like as you can see, they're using some they're what I would just call typical anime expressions. I don't know what the technical term for that is, but the action is very, very funny. She basically takes down every person individually, until she gets them all together in the same place where she has a conversation with them about what's going on. After she throws them into her trunk. Actually, before she has a conversation, she throws him into the trunk of the car, and then she decides that she's going to let him sit in the car for a while. That's right. And then she goes to a diner, and inside the diner, she runs into this weird green-haired guy as she's just got done with her lunch. And she finds out that the guy is an assassin, and of course, he tries to kill her, but before he can try to kill her, she stabs him right in the chest with a fork. And I really like the action here. It's nice, clear. It's very, very intense. You can tell she did it really hard. And then, of course, the manager apologizes for it. So she goes down to the roller derby because she's got one of her games to do. So she's down at the roller derby. She gets into a car, runs through all the people who are talking smack about her team. That's right. That's what happens. And then she takes the family down to the docks where she brings them right off to the end. She takes them all out of the car and she lines them up at the end of the pier where she finally decides to sit down and have a conversation with them. And as she's talking to them, and they're scared out of their mind after she had kicked them all into the shit. They thought they were going in the water, but they were really just being kicked onto the beach. But she scared the crap out of them, and she comes to find out that the old lady who was talking to her has Alzheimer's, and she hadn't actually looked at the charts that told her that. So she did this to this whole family, and the whole reason she did it is because the lady couldn't actually remember that they had visited her all the time. They visit her a couple times a week. And so she goes back to her she goes back to the medical office for the rest of the day, where she comes this is a really important plot point, where she meets a guy named Cy Borgman. Not Cyborg, but Cy Borgman. He's an older man in a wheelchair with cybernetic appendages. and he comes in and tells her that he could help her find out who's got the hit out on her if she decides that she would help him track down some people and kill them, essentially. So basically be a hitman for him. And so of course Harley Quinn, being excited about the thing, busts out of the doctor's uniform and starts getting ready for the hits that she needs to do on Cyborgman's enemies. And that leads you into the next comic, number 5. This comic, if I was going to give it a review, I'd say that the art's pretty good. I'd say it's, there's a few moments where, like I said, they use some typical like anime style, so it's a little more cartoonish. But the story is where I have most of my problems, because it's funny, but if I was going to be critical, I would say that there was just not quite enough action in the beginning. I understand the quirkiness of going to the psychiatry, or to go into the people's houses, and it's kind of funny the way it worked out. But of all the issues that I've read so far, I would say that this is probably one of my least favorite until you get to probably the last few, I'd say the last like 5 or 6 panels, where you start actually getting into what the real story is. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.